Good morning, students, and welcome to lesson 3.1.2 on U substitution. So our goal today is to be able to factor different equations more easily using something called U substitution. So here is the setting of the problem. On is attempting to factor 9x to the 6th plus 3x cubed minus 2, but thinks the exponents are confusing. So On's teammate, Eaton, suggests writing the expression as 9u squared plus 3u minus 2 to make it look easier. If 9u squared plus 3u minus 2 is equivalent to 9x squared plus 3x cubed minus 2, what does u equal? On this problem, I would say u has to equal x cubed. So now we're going to factor 9u squared plus 3u minus 2. Sorry about this. U squared plus 3u minus 2. And if I use my squares and diamonds, something has to multiply to a negative 18u, but add to 3u. I think that's going to be 6u times a negative 3u. That gives me a negative 18, and that adds to 3u. So 9u squared, negative 2, 6u, negative 3u. So this is going to be 3u and 3u, a negative 1 and 2. So this factors to 3u plus 2 times 3u minus 1. But that's with a u. Remember, u equals x cubed. So I'm going to rewrite this now as 3x cubed plus 2 times 3x cubed minus 1. On to the next slide. Here are two more equations. Let's figure out what u should be in the first one, and then factor that, and then I'll have you figure out, or attempt to figure out, what u should equal in the second equation. So I have 5u squared, 5 cosine squared x minus 9 cosine x minus 2. Well, it looks like we have a quadratic because we have a degree of 2 here. But I don't like those cosines. Those cosines seem to be a little confusing. So I'm going to let the cosine of x equal u. And why am I choosing cosine? Because this term right here would become a minus 9u, and this term here would become 5u squared. And now using my squares and diamonds, I can factor this. It has to multiply to a negative 10u squared, but add to a negative 9u. I think that's going to be a negative 10u and a positive 1u. So I have 5u squared, a negative 2, a negative 10u, and 1u. So 5u times u, this is going to be 1 and a negative 2. So this factors to 5u plus 1 times u minus 2. But now I'm going to put that cosine back in there. So this is really 5 cosine x plus 1 times cosine of x minus 2. Now I would like you to pause this and think about what u should equal. So please pause this now. Hopefully you came up with u equaling 4x minus 1. So if I replace this 4x minus 1 with u, I have u squared plus 12u plus 20. Please pause this again, complete the factoring, and then replace u with 4x minus 1. And then you can check your work here in just a minute. So pause it now, do the work, and then push play when you're ready to check your answer. Okay, welcome back. So I factored u squared plus 12u plus 20, and then I replaced that u with 4x minus 1, replace this u with 4x minus 1. But then I could simplify inside my parentheses. So 4x minus 1 plus 2 simplified to 4x plus 1, and then 4x minus 1 plus 10 simplified to 4x plus 9. All right, on to the next slide. Now here's a couple more for you. These are going to be a little bit more challenging. So let's do part D together, and then you can go and try part C. So in part D, I'm still using this idea of I've got this quadratic term I'm thinking at some point, and then I've got this linear term. And so this x to the 4/3, I really want that to be my u. So I'm going to write this part first. Oops. So plus 11u plus 6. Now let's think about the 4 times x to the 8/3. 4 times x to the 8/3. Isn't that really the same as 4 times x to the 4/3 squared? And then if I take power to a power and multiply 2 times 4/3, I'm going to get 8/3. So I can really write this as 4u squared. I'm letting this be u, and then it's squared. Now factor this using squares and diamonds. So I need 24u squared, but it has to add up to 11u. I think that's 8u and 3u. So I have 4u squared, 6, 8u, 3u. So this is going to be 4u times u, 3 times u, 2. So this factors into u plus 2 times 4u plus 3. Now replacing u with x raised to the 4/3. I have x to the 4/3 plus 2 times 4 times x to the 4/3 plus 3. So go ahead, pause this, and then you try part C, where u equals maybe 7 to the x power. And then come back here and check your work. So pause it now, do your work, and then come back and check your work. Okay, welcome back. Since u equals 7 to the x, I end up with u squared plus 4u minus 12. That factors into u plus 6 times u minus 2. Put your 7x back in there and you are done with your factoring using U substitution. On to the next slide. So here you're going to use U substitution to help solve an equation. I will tell you that u equals the sine of x or sine of theta. So we have 2u squared plus u minus 1 equals 0. Now you're going to take, the first thing you're going to do is factor. Second thing you're going to do is replace u with sine theta. And then the third thing is solve for sine theta. So pause this, complete those 3 steps, and then come back here to check your work. So pause now. Welcome back. So I factored 2u squared plus u minus 1 into 2u minus 1 times u plus 1. Then I replaced u with sine theta. Using my zero product property, either 2 sine theta minus 1 has to equal 0, or sine theta plus 1 has to equal 0. Then I solved for sine theta. That equals 1/2 in the red. And where or what angle has the sine equaling 1/2? Well, that's pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6. Then I solved in green, sine of theta equaling a -1. Where is the y coordinate or the sine function on the unit circle equal to a -1? Well, that's at 3 pi over 2. All right, hopefully this helps you with U substitution. You can expect to see the idea of using U substitution on a number of your upcoming quests. Have yourself a great day.